Slender Man. Few modern legends have spread as far and as fast as Slender Man. Unlike most urban legends with ancient roots, Slender Man was born on the internet in 2009, when a user on a forum called Something Awful created eerie photoshopped images of a tall, faceless figure lurking in the background of ordinary pictures. The figure's unsettling appearance and vague origin quickly took on a life of its own, inspiring stories, games, and countless sightings. Slender Man is typically described as impossibly tall and unnaturally thin, with long arms that sometimes stretch into tentacle-like appendages. His face is featureless, a pale blank mask that makes him all the more disturbing. He is said to stalk forests, abandoned buildings, and suburban neighborhoods, appearing silently and watching from a distance. Victims who encounter him often report paranoia, strange dreams, or even missing time. What makes Slender Man terrifying is the sense of inevitability. Once he sets his gaze on someone, escape seems impossible. In many stories, he targets children and adolescents, luring them into the woods and never letting them return. His legend grew so large that it blurred the line between fiction and reality, culminating in real-life incidents where individuals claim to act under his influence. La Llorona. Few urban legends are as haunting across Latin America as the story of La Llorona, or the Weeping Woman. Her tale begins with tragedy. According to legend, she was once a beautiful woman who drowned her own children in a river, often out of rage, jealousy, or despair. Overcome with grief, she threw herself into the same waters and was cursed to wander the earth for eternity. Witnesses describe hearing her wails at night, a sorrowful cry that chills the blood. "Ay, mis hijos," she laments, calling out for her lost children. Her ghost is said to appear near rivers, lakes, and canals, dressed in a long white gown with a pale, tear-streaked face. Those who encounter her often tell of icy winds, an overwhelming sense of dread, and sometimes even violent attacks. The legend serves as both a cultural warning and a supernatural tale. Parents in Mexico and Central America often tell their children not to wander near rivers after dark, warning that La Llorona might mistake them for her own lost children and drag them into the water. Her story has been passed down for centuries, shifting in detail, but never losing its power. The Shadow People. Among the most disturbing urban legends are the tales of the Shadow People. Unlike traditional ghosts, these entities are not fully formed figures, but dark silhouettes, often described as human-shaped shadows that flicker at the edges of vision or loom silently in the corners of rooms. Encounters frequently occur during sleep paralysis. When a person is conscious but unable to move, victims report waking in the night with the crushing sensation of being watched, only to see a shadowy figure standing by their bed. Some describe them as tall and looming, others as short and quick-moving. In nearly every case, their presence is accompanied by an overwhelming sense of dread. There are many theories about who or what the Shadow People are. Skeptics point to sleep paralysis and the brain's tendency to misinterpret shapes in the dark. Paranormal believers argue they are interdimensional beings, slipping briefly into our world. Others insist they are demonic entities feeding on fear, drawn to people in moments of vulnerability. One of the most famous accounts involves the Hat Man, a recurring shadow figure described as wearing a wide-brimmed hat. Witnesses across the globe report seeing him in identical form, which adds a chilling layer of consistency to the legend. What makes the Shadow People terrifying is their silence. They rarely move, rarely speak, and yet their presence alone can paralyze a victim with fear. The Night Marchers. In Hawaiian legend, the Night Marchers are among the most feared spirits. Known as the Huakaipo, they are the restless souls of ancient Hawaiian warriors, doomed to march eternally across the islands. Their ghostly processions are said to appear after dark, often near old battlefields, sacred sites, or along remote trails. Witnesses describe the sound of drums, chanting, and the blare of conch shells, followed by a glowing line of torchlight, moving steadily through the night. The Night Marchers are not mere phantoms to be observed from a distance. According to tradition, encountering them face to face can be deadly. To look directly at the marchers is to invite death, unless you drop to the ground and avert your eyes in submission. In some tellings, lying flat and showing respect may cause the spirits to pass by unharmed. Others say that unless you have an ancestor among them, you will not survive the encounter. Locals often warn against disturbing sacred areas where the Night Marchers are believed to travel. The routes are said to be consistent, cutting through valleys, across old trails, and even directly through modern homes built in their path. Those who live nearby sometimes report strange phenomena: flickering lights, rhythmic drum beats, or sudden winds that herald the marcher's approach. The Vanishing Hitchhiker. One of the most chilling and persistent urban legends is the Vanishing Hitchhiker. The story begins innocently enough. A driver picks up a passenger, usually a young woman, on a lonely road at night. She often seems distressed or unusually quiet, sometimes giving vague directions to a nearby home. But before the driver reaches the destination, the hitchhiker mysteriously disappears, often right from the back seat. When the driver, confused and shaken, knocks on the door of the house she mentioned, the legend takes its eerie turn. The family inside explains that the girl they described has been dead for years, killed in a car accident near that very stretch of road. Sometimes they even reveal that she was their daughter, forever trying to make her way home. This legend has appeared across cultures for centuries, with variations in Hawaii, Mexico, South Africa, and Europe. In some versions, the hitchhiker leaves behind an object such as a scarf or jacket, only for it to be later found resting on a gravestone. In others, she warns of an impending disaster, then vanishes before it strikes. The Vanishing Hitchhiker endures because it taps into a universal fear. The uncanny blending of the living and the dead, the ordinary night drive interrupted by the supernatural. The Rake. Among the most unsettling creatures to emerge from internet lore is the Rake, a pale, nightmarish figure said to stalk people in their sleep. First appearing in online forums in the early 2000s, the Rake is described as a hairless, emaciated humanoid with long claws and glowing eyes. It crawls on all fours with unnatural speed and is often seen lurking in bedrooms or perched at the foot of a bed, watching silently as its victim awakens. Encounters with the Rake follow a terrifying pattern. Witnesses report waking in the night to find the creature crouched nearby, its eyes reflecting in the dark. Some stories describe it whispering incoherently, while others claim it attacks with savage ferocity, leaving deep scratches or psychological trauma. In certain accounts, the mere sight of the Rake is enough to drive people to madness. Though skeptics dismiss the Rake as a creepypasta creation, its legend has grown because it preys on a universal fear: the terror of waking up to find something inhuman staring at you in the darkness. Unlike ghosts or demons, the Rake is presented with no origin or purpose, making it even more terrifying. It is not a restless spirit or a cursed soul, it is simply a predator. The Mothman. One of the most infamous American urban legends is the Mothman, a winged humanoid said to haunt the skies over Point Pleasant, West Virginia. First reported in 1966, eyewitnesses described a towering figure with glowing red eyes and enormous wings, capable of flying without flapping like a bird. The creature was often seen near the old TNT area, an abandoned World War II munitions site, where the decaying buildings and dense woods provided the perfect backdrop for something otherworldly. Over the course of a year, more than 100 sightings were reported. Witnesses spoke of the creature chasing cars, hovering above rooftops, and filling them with a sense of dread. Then, in December 1967, tragedy struck. The Silver Bridge, which connected Point Pleasant to Ohio, collapsed during rush hour, causing 46 fatalities. Many locals believed the Mothman had been a harbinger of the disaster, appearing as an omen of doom. The legend of the Mothman has only grown since then. Some claim he is a supernatural being tied to death and misfortune. Others suggest he is an alien visitor, or even the product of government experiments gone wrong. Skeptics point to sandhill cranes or large owls as a possible explanation, but for many, the creature's glowing eyes and strange behavior cannot be dismissed so easily. The Hookman. One of the most classic American urban legends is the Hookman. The story usually begins the same way. A young couple is parked late at night in a secluded area, enjoying each other's company. The radio hums in the background when a news bulletin interrupts with a warning. A dangerous killer has escaped from a nearby asylum, the announcer says, and he is armed with a hook in place of a hand. Nervous, the couple debates whether to leave, but before they decide, strange noises start outside the car. Scratches against the door, shuffling footsteps in the dark, the unmistakable sense that someone is watching them. Fear finally drives them to speed away, only to make a terrifying discovery when they stop. Hanging from the car door handle is a bloody hook. The Hookman legend has been retold countless times since it first spread in the 1950s, often as a cautionary tale. Parents and authority figures used it to warn teenagers against parking in remote areas, framing it as both a horror story and a moral lesson. The Fresno Nightcrawler. Few modern urban legends are as strange and unsettling as the Fresno Nightcrawler. First reported in the late 1990s and brought into wider attention in 2007, the Nightcrawler quickly became an internet mystery, thanks to bizarre security camera footage. The video showed two tall, thin white figures with long legs and almost no upper body walking slowly through a yard in Fresno, California. Their movement was unnatural, gliding forward with a strange, puppet-like gait. The video spread online, sparking debate and fascination. Some claimed the footage showed aliens visiting Earth, while others believed the Nightcrawlers were spirits or cryptids. Their peculiar appearance, like living pairs of pants with tiny heads, made them both unsettling and oddly captivating. Additional alleged sightings in California and even in Poland have kept the mystery alive, though none have ever been confirmed. Unlike many urban legends, the Fresno Nightcrawlers are not usually described as violent or malevolent. Instead, they seem to simply appear, wander silently, and vanish into the night. This ambiguous behavior makes them even creepier, as no one can say what they are or why they're here. Are they observing humanity, guardians of nature, or something far stranger? Skeptics argue the videos could be hoaxes, pointing to the jerky movements that resemble puppets or people in costumes. But for believers, the Nightcrawlers represent proof of something otherworldly. Their legend endures because of their sheer strangeness. Creatures that defy explanation, caught just long enough on camera to leave us with more questions than answers. The Jersey Devil. Deep within the Pine Barrens of New Jersey lurks one of America's oldest and most enduring legends, the Jersey Devil. Descriptions of this creature vary, but it is most often said to have the body of a kangaroo, the head of a goat, bat-like wings, hooved feet, and a forked tail. Its piercing screams are said to echo through the dense forests, sending chills through anyone unlucky enough to hear them. The origin of the Jersey Devil dates back to the early 1700s. According to folklore, a woman known as Mother Leeds cursed her 13th child during pregnancy, declaring that if it were born, it would be the devil himself. When the baby arrived, it transformed into a hideous winged creature and flew into the night, destined to terrorize the region for centuries. Sightings of the Jersey Devil have been reported ever since. In the 1800s, it was blamed for livestock killings and mysterious tracks in the snow. In 1909, a surge of encounters made headlines across the East Coast, with reports of the creature attacking trolleys, flying over towns, and leaving terrified communities in its wake. To this day, people claim to see the beast gliding silently between the trees, or hear its blood-curdling cry on stormy nights.